Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Average Superstar TV. I'm your host, Lauren Lepre. Thank you again for taking the time to stop by and checking out this podcast. And this week, we are back in the horror movie world. I've got one of the greats from the horror movie franchise that basically has changed everything in the last few years. I've got the great producer, Phil Falcone, producer of Terrifier 1, 2, and 3, and soon to be part 4. Phil, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Lauren. How's it going, man?
Life's good. Not as good as your life's going with the franchise these days. I'm really happy for all you guys. I don't even know where to start with this one. For all the walls you guys keep breaking down, you'd think there's no more to break, and then boom, there goes another one.
Well, let me step in here for a second. I don't know how many people know, but Lauren helped us get one of our major sets for Terrifier 2. He got us into Fright Factory. I've become good friends with Frank Procopio, thanks to Lauren. So thank you again. It helped us immensely because that was a ultra low budget film, and that set saved us a lot because I don't know if you know, but I built a lot of the sets for Terrifier 2 with George, Steve, and Jason, and my friend Larry, and this kid Rob. We built our sets up in a barn upstate. So thanks, Lauren, because I don't think I could have built any more sets.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So for everybody that also doesn't know, especially if you're a wrestling fan, but so I filmed just a scene, a quick terrorist scene for my movie, The Dark Military, at the Fright Factory, and I got to know Damien pretty good. Right after the first movie, and I kept saying, "Brother, I'd love to be in the film, but I also, if you need any locations, that's my specialty." He told me, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I think I could easily go hit a home run with this one." So I went down. I spoke with Frank. Frank at the time didn't know what Terrifier was, but he's just like, yeah. I was like, all right. So Damien and Phil came, scooped me. We went and checked the place out, and they fell in love. And what for the wrestling part, for anyone who knows the infamous ECW arena, the 2300 arena, it's the next block to the right. So for anybody, horror and wrestling go together pretty good. So anybody who loves ECW, yep, Terrifier 2 is like right next door. So, but that's pretty rad. But yeah, Phil. So I know you've had previous jobs and everything. So like, why did you even want to get in the film? And I guess, yeah, why did you even want to get in the film? And what's your origin to even meeting Damien?
Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, let's start from a very, very, very long time ago. I was about 13 years old. I wanted to be an actor. Actually went to William Morris Acting School, and also wanted to have a family. I knew I wanted to have a big family. I come from a big family, and I wasn't going to make it as an actor, I don't think, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to support a family back then. So I turned my sights to other places. I ended up on Wall Street, and I worked there for about 30 years. And I had gotten sick in 2008, and I was pretty much a recluse for a couple of years. I owe a lot to my doctor, Dr. Hariso, who got me out of the doldrums, and pretty much saved my life. And I decided he talked me into what are the things you enjoyed in life before this. And I said, I always wanted to be an actor. He said, why don't you do that? And I said, I've gotten out of shape. I don't, I'm an old man now. I said, I don't want to do acting. He said, well, why don't you do something in the film world? So I put pen to paper, and I was writing, and a friend came over, and we started writing Joe's War. And I did this film, and I said, we need some blood. I said, I need some blood work. I need some effects. And my partner at the time said, I know this kid, Damien, he just did a short for us. And I said, let me meet him. And I met Damien, and he was a great kid back then. He still is to this day. And he came on the set, and he did a couple of, if I would have known what he could do, oh, I would have did so much more. I didn't know. I just said, listen, I need a little blood. What do you want? Anything you want. And I told him, and we did that. And I got to talking to him on the set. I helped him pump the blood and everything. I was all excited. And, afterwards, he had mentioned that, or during, he had mentioned that he wanted to do this film. And he was talking about a horror film. And I said, I don't do horror films. I'm not into horror films really. I said, my horror films were black and white horror. And, my son brought it up to me again, saying, Dad, you should talk to him about it. So I said, listen, if you want to do it, I'm about to raise some money for a movie that I want to do. It's an action film. I said, but maybe somebody wants to put money into a horror film. So send me what you're looking to do. So he sent it to me and I said, that's all you want? And he said, yes. I said, well, I tell you what, I'll give you the money. I said, but I want you to teach me special effects. We'll partner up. I'll help you. I'll do everything with you. I said, and we'll make this happen. And I found out later, he thought I was full of shit. And he said, yeah, okay. And so I said, just let me know when your bank account's open. And he goes, it's open. So I sent him a check right there. And he goes, oh shit, let's do it. And I guess everything fell into place. It was just meant to be. I had a house in Staten Island. I still have it. And it was rented out and the people moved out right before we were about to start. So I said, my wife goes, I got to rent the house. I said, don't rent it yet. I said, we're going to use that as our studio to build everything. So we used the house to build everything. And me and Damien got very close then. We've spent about 4 months together just building props and doing prosthetics and molding and everything. And that's when I really found out how cool guy he is. And I like to think he made me a better person. And I hope I did the same for him. I think we work well together. I think we complement each other in different ways. And like I said, we got very close and we did a lot. And for such a small budget, the amount of work that was done was incredible. And the fans took to it. And I found that out in Arizona, the first con I ever went to. I went there. We weren't even on Netflix yet. And people were coming in with make homemade Terrifier shirts. And I turned to him, I said, we got to go bigger for 2. And so we did 2 and we went a little bigger. And when we were doing that, he goes, Phil, he goes, this would cost about $1 million just in effects. And I said, get out of here, fucking crazy. Well, Terrifier 3 came around. Yeah. I found out he wasn't lying. We put a lot of work into that.
Yeah, and that seems definitely could slow a film set down. It's a time consumer, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, COVID helped us out, believe it or not. Not nice to say, but what it did was it slowed down production, and we were filming the bedroom scene, and
Yes.
he didn't like the way it was coming out. So when we took our break and we went back to my house, because we built everything in my basement this time, thanks to my wife, she allowed all that crap. But we went down in my basement and we were building things, and he's going, you think you could do this? Because you think you can make the mount move? And I said, I never did that before. We'll try. And we got it to work, and we built a lot. We did a lot, and we re-examined that entire scene and went back and shot it, and it stands the test of time, I guess. Hopefully it will. It came out really cool. It was the first time I did any animatronics. I built the bed for that. I had to put holes all over the place. Steve Delasala, I love to say this, he was under the bed getting full of blood. So, moving the body with things. So it was fun. It was really cool. And this time the fans really, really, really went to town on Terrifier, and thank God for the fans. I'll always say it, you're only as good as your fan base. If your fan base comes out and sees it and they like it, that's what takes you. And that's what propelled Terrifier into the realm that we are. For all you filmmakers out there, if your fans accept your film, that's what's going to do it. If you could get some social media out there, the fans will take it and pick it up and carry it over the goal line.
Absolutely. So I know there's a lot of hands that also help you, but I was especially when I was there about 17 days for Terrifier 2, and you were very hands-on. You're not like a producer that's like throws the money and sits back and checks in. You're like, you are actually doing the producing as well.
Yeah, I like to be hands-on. Like I said, I help with the effects. I was Damien's right-hand man on the effects from beginning to end, and I build sets, and I do props. I'll do anything. I'll do anything I can. I'll mop floors. I'll throw out the garbage. I'm a PA. I'm an assistant director. I'm an assistant effects man. I'm a producer. I'll do anything I can. I'll give ideas. If you don't like them, great. If he likes them, use them. Doesn't matter to me. Um, one of the things he says, I'm going to show Phil. I'm like Mikey, the kid that used to say, "Give it to Mikey. He don't
He'll
like
do it.
anything."
Mikey likes it. Yep.
And he would send me stuff, and I'd go, either I'd say, "Yeah, I don't like it," or I'd say, "Well, it's really good." I said, "But if you got to change something, this is what I would change." So I'll always give him my honest opinion. Even if I think it's great, I'll say, "I think it's great, but you could maybe do this." So and I think he likes that to some degree. I'm sure nobody nobody likes it too much, but he'll say, "Yeah, I agree with you," or he'll say, "Nah, you're crazy."
Gotcha. But I said there's other producers, associate producers. You are Mr. Terrifier. There's no other, no. That's it, right? You are the guy that produces. You are the guy that gets the funding for all three, soon to be four films.
Well, my wife and I funded all three films. We did do an Indiegogo, and thank you fans that helped us with the budget. But I screwed up Indiegogo. I didn't realize that making these things and shipping these things were going to cost so much money. I actually screwed that up, but it did help a lot. It helped us because we got through production, and then I just had to put more money in for post-production. But Terrifier 3, I funded, my wife and I. And like you said, I'm not only money, and I hate when people say, "Well, he's the producer, he threw the money in." No, I'm the producer because
I've seen it. Yes, I've seen what you do. Yes, he's the real deal.
And some of the things, like, I'm not as how do you say, I'm not as up to date on movie lingo, and I'm also, as I'm not that type of person that, like, I don't care if anybody calls me, "Hey, Phil." I don't need to say sir. I don't need none of that
Yeah.
shit. I don't care about titles. I know people are into their titles. I actually insulted somebody on the set in Terrifier 3 by accident. I said, "Get one of the PA. Can you help him?" And "Oh, PA? I'm not a PA." "All right." I said, "I'm sorry." I said, "If I wasn't busy, I'd do it."
Mhm.
And I'm a broken down old man. I'll sweep a floor. I'll clean up blood. I'll take makeup off. I'll put makeup on. I don't care about titles. Here's what I care about: get the job done. Do the best you can. My father raised me. If you're not going to go in all the way and give it your best shot, be willing to sign your name to it. Don't do it.
You're right. And I said, my eyes, I saw you were also sweeping up, doing trash, and you were also cooking a lot. Like you were in a lunch break, and I can still tell the world that Phil makes some badass chicken. I still miss it from years ago.
One of the things, we cut it out, but in Terrified 3, there was a little thing up there that said beef tips. It's a joke on the set. Like, we had beef tips a lot. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I cook. My wife cooked for Terrifier and Terrifier 2, along with Damien's sister, and my kids. And Terrifier 2, I did a lot of the cooking, and I don't think anybody was too happy about it.
What do you say? Because you and I are both in the same ship with this. Because mostly I fund my own film, so I'm constantly, as we're filming, thinking of the budget and the time that we're losing, and there's no money to replace this day. So I'm always have that, like, I'm trying to push my cast, but I'm also trying not to look like I'm bullying everyone through the entire day. They're like, "Wow, this guy's horrible to work with." You got to give them a little bit of time to have a little bit of fun, decompress, but it can't be too long because I got to get you to the next scene. So I've seen you get a little pushy at times, and I remember saying, like, I'm not the producer. I don't got to say nothing, but, like, my blood would be boiling. This is just too much fun playtime. How do you come up with your theory of, all right, now we're just wasting money and I'm getting pissed. Like, we got to move. How do you balance that out? Because you got such a great great cast and crew, and they're also your friends. So you got to kind of separate. These are my friends. Also, I'm also a producer, and I gotta, playtime's over.
Well, I think you'll have people on both sides of that coin that'll say Philip is rough, but they also know that I'm there shoulder to shoulder with them. It's not me just walking in and saying, do this, do that, do that. I'll put in the time. I mean, I'm a problem solver too. I try to do the best I can. We had an issue with the tub scene, how to get that liquid and everything in there, and I built a device and put it in the tub, and people are like, holy shit. Like, even my G&E crew came in and said, who did that? And they go, Phil did it. And they going, you built that? I said, yeah, let's just get it done, don't worry about it, stop praying, let's get the shit in there, man. We got to do this. So yeah, I am rough. I gotta say, I'll be the first one to say it. I'm rough around the edges. I talk rough around the edges, but I'm also the type of guy that'll do anything I can for you. If you put in your time and effort, I'll do anything I can to help you. Budgets. Listen, our budgets get beat on constantly. As a filmmaker, your budget is bullshit. I can tell you that right now. Your budget is bullshit. You're never making that budget, but you try to stay as close to it as possible. This time around, I had on Terrifier 3, I had Jill Breeder help me out great. She helped me with my budget. She kept me, like, I would tell her, listen, I can't pay that kind of money. And she'd go, let me work on it. And she's a bulldog like me. So it was great. But I've pushed some buttons, as you know, and have seen. And I also am the type of person that I'll go over to, I don't mind. I'll go over to somebody and say, I'm sorry, man. But I need this done. I mean, Olga, Olga, she's great. I love Olga. But there were times where I made Olga cry. I would go like, Jesus Christ, you got 3 more fucking seconds. If you're not out of that fucking scene in 3 seconds, they're filming the fucking scene with you in it. And she'd go over to Damien. He yelled about, but you know what? It's got to get done. And I love her. I mean, we've had conversations in my driveway for hours. I'd be sitting there daylight, and all of a sudden it's pitch black, and we're still talking. But Olga's fantastic. I mean, she does an amazing job. You got people like George Stuber, Steve Delasala, Mike Levy. God, there's so many people, but and of course, Damien, I don't have to say that. But there's people like Jason Milstein that you don't hear of. Jason Milstein's a fucking superstar. I mean, anybody that could get him on his film set, it's like having 10 different heads of departments in one. He does sound, he does effects, he does, SFX, he does the CGI, he does, he did our post-production for Terrifier 3. Without him, we don't make it on time. He's just he's still working. I mean, I was with him. He actually came with me to the veterans group yesterday to help us. They're putting a studio together. So I said, listen, I'm not technically inclined. I called Jason. I said, I need your help, because what do you need? Went down there. So I think even though I'm rough, even though I'm a little bit of tough on certain people, I think they know the type of person I am, and they come to help me any chance they get. And I help anybody I can as well.
Absolutely. So let me back up to something you just said earlier, because it makes this. I wasn't around for the third flick. So in this Terrifier 2, like you said, COVID in a small way was a blessing, because you guys had time to slow the film down and really work on the setups for the death scenes and everything. The third one was like, I don't know, you had a hand in between your shoulder blades, all of you, of move. This has to be ready for. How did you do that? And like, did you feel like too much pressure as like, yo, this film's almost going to be forced in a way? Like, were you guys think it was going to come off that way?
Oh God. I think Damien and I's friendship was on at its edge. I mean, when he would see me walking over, you'd see him like, what the fuck? I mean, it was stressed out to no end. I mean, I there was a time, first of all, to do this, we were supposed to get funding and we didn't. And I turned to my wife and I said, I'm sitting at a table, and I was being put to I don't like being pressured, and we had a very limited time, and we were supposed to start at a certain time. I put up a lot of money at the beginning. I was supposed to get it back because we were supposed to get funding. And I sat at a table and I turned to my wife and I said, I don't want to hear these people anymore about bullshit about the money they're supposed to give me. I said, I'm going to risk our retirement. I want to fund the movie. And she looked at me and she said, we've been poor before. We'll do it again if we have to. And right from there, I got up and it felt like the weight of the world was lifted off my shoulders. We were filming the scene in the Staten Island Mall. And I walked in and the agent came over and they said, did you sign the contract for the money? And I said, no. I said, in the first I said, I read the first paragraph, and the first paragraph said, we're going to give you the money, but Phil Falcone has to personally guarantee the money. And I said, okay, well, here's what I want you to tell them. I want you to go to them and tell them, go fuck yourself. And she goes, I can't say that. I said, yeah. I said, they held us off to the last minute and now they pull this shit. I said, tell them to go fuck themselves. So she came back and she said, they want to talk to you. I said, what part of go fuck yourself did they not understand? I said, I got this. She goes, who's going to do it? I said, I got this. Don't worry about it. So I turned to Damien. I said, Damien, the only thing I got to tell you is we got to get this done. And he said, I won't let you down. And from there was probably the worst thing he could ever say, because I was up there. I was like, Damien, we can't do that. Damien, we can't do this. Damien. But I would tell every time he'd go, Phil, I want to do this. I go, no. And then I'd sit there and I'd go, Jesus, how could we get this done with that? Like I said, I like to solve problems. So my first reaction to my kids when they would ask me for something is no. And then I'd say, all right, let me see how I can make this happen. So I was doing the same thing with Damien. I was like, no. And then I'd go, all right, listen, if we do this and we cut from here, I can make this work. And I'd go over to him and I go, all right, but we got to do this today. And we got to get it in a certain amount of time. And he'd go, we'll do it. But every time he saw me coming, I'd see him shake his head, go, oh, motherfucker. And, I think it made us stronger. Like I said, I think we're good for one another. I think we make things happen.
What would you say? Is there anyone else besides yourself? Obviously, would you say is another unsung hero for Terrifier 3?
Oh, there's so many. I mean, I could tell you, Terrifier, the first Terrifier, there was like 6 of us. The second Terrifier, we brought in the Fuzz Boys, and I'm going to say there was 9 of us for the most part, 9 nucleus. For Terrifier 3, there's like 45 crew people, and I could tell you at one time or another, everyone was a hero. There was so many people that even our PAs, and again, I don't like giving titles because there are PAs that were produced. They were acted like producers. I mean, there was just so much going on. You have so many people. My wife is leaving.
Bye.
But there was so many people. I mean, Britt, she comes in and she just does some, she would make some props and stuff for us. Jason Baker, Tinsley, Heather, Ryan, my God, I throwing names out that people are not going to know. But if you look down that list of cast and crew, and you could just hit every single one and say, Jesus, without them, we couldn't have done this. And that's my honest opinion. Without everybody listed, same thing with 2, same thing with 1. It's just insane to think you could do this with, especially at this level, with less or with different. These people just pulled it together. And like I said, I'm rough on people. You know that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I would hear people call, oh, we can't do that. I go, just fucking do it. I don't want to fucking hear it. Just do it. I mean, do the fucking job. And they would come, well, we're working too long. I said, all right, we'll go home. Well, who's going to do it? Don't worry about it. We'll get somebody to do it. No, I can't. Well, that's your choice. But, you don't have to stay here. Don't kill yourself for any movie. Do what you got to do. You could leave when you want. You could stay when you want. But everybody, I mean, all troopers, it was amazing. It was an amazing crew. I got to be honest. There's so many people that were amazing in this. And we had a lot of people up our ass. Trust me.
Guys, why though? Like once you sign on with a film, this part I don't understand. If you come one of them, shouldn't they be helping you? What were they pushing back on?
Oh God, everything. They asked us what kind of mist are you using for the smoke. We said this one. They said no, that's no good, and we had to give them. I forgot what it's called, but there's grades on things, and we sent them about 8, and they turned them all down, and they were all used in movies. So I turned to them and I said, "Why don't you give us the one we can use?" And they refused. There was a scene where we're
Why
in.
would they refuse the one that?
They
Why?
listen. I couldn't tell you.
It's like saying that, hey, you got a parking ticket. Let me pay it. Well, we're not going to let you pay it now. Like, wait, what?
Listen, I can't. I'll give you a prime example of what happened. We had a SAG rep on our set every day. Every day. The scene with Santa Claus, we had a rubber gun. You can't even pull a trigger. It was a rubber gun. It was a prop gun, and we had an armor on the set that we shouldn't have needed for this scene anyway. Where's your armor? So we brought them Jared, and they said, let me see your license for guns. And now this is a weapons expert. And they said, your license is from Pennsylvania. And he goes, yes. And they said, we don't recognize it. And he said, what? They said, we don't recognize it. We're not going to let you shoot the scene. So now I'm outside. Now I go outside because I don't want, even though they ended up hearing me, I didn't want my cast and crew to hear me. I went outside and I said, what the fuck is going on? And he goes, we can't have that allowed. So I said, what do you need? They said, we need an armor with a New York license. I think they were pissed off because I didn't use unions. Because on our first call, they said, do you have any other unions? And I said, no, it's just a drain on the production. I want my money to go into the production. I want it to be the production value. I don't need to pay somebody $1,000 to sit in a truck and not do anything else. I'll hire. I bought 2 trucks for the movie. Mm-hmm. I bought them on my own. I just went out and I bought 2 trucks. I bought the van. I bought the bus so that we didn't have to rent anything, so we could keep it. It's mine. I own it. But we could hire people to drive and to do other things.
Yeah. So, but again, you had to push. You had such a fast deadline, so yeah, I can imagine. Were you guys at any point like, oh my god, we actually might not make this one? Or
Damien was like, I can't do it. I was like, Damien, you promised me we got to do it. I don't give a fuck if you show me running around in a diaper. We got to send this out. He goes, we'll get it. That's why I said Jason Milstein, he helped us huge because we were still working on sound, I think a couple of days before we released the movie to theaters. Yeah. And I got to say, we were, our foreign agent was holding back the wolves. Priscilla from Coven, she held back the wolves on the foreign end. Jason talked to everybody. Jason was amazing. I'm telling you. I mean, Damien brought it together for the film. Jason Milstein was the key to getting it out. George Stuber, he saved my life twice. I'll just throw that out there, George, if you watch this. For Terrifier 2, like a month before we started shooting, I had open heart surgery, and my wife actually walked in. It was like 3 weeks after my surgery. I was downstairs. We were molding the body for the bedroom scene, and she walks in and she goes, "What are you doing?" I was still stitched up. "What are you doing? Get upstairs." Like, go ahead upstairs. I said, we got to get this done. But I was operated on August 9th, and we started filming October. And I said, I can't do this. I mean, they have pictures of me showing them how to, in case I didn't make it through the surgery, how to build the sets upstate.
Madness, dude. You're like Kevin Costner in Yellowstone after he got shot. You're like right back on the horse.
Yeah, you got to do it, man. You got to listen. You make commitments, you follow through. That's why I say, I am rough around the edges. I'll be the first one to admit it. I honestly believe, like I tell Damien goes, "You don't realize how rough you are." I said, "I don't think you get how many people love me as soon as they meet me." He goes, "Oh, you're out of yeah, you're out of control." I goop around. I go, "But you know what?" He says, "After they get to know you, they'll know the person you are."
I don't know if you remember this particular moment, but you and I were, it was just quick conversations at the factory because technically I'm kind of the odd guy out. Well, no, we did kind of hang out because you guys picked me up and all that to go check the place out. But you and I quickly bonded because I don't know how we referenced Wang Chung Gung Fu, but once that happened, it was like, oh shit, yeah, I got a new brother here practically.
Yeah, yeah. You're a lot more advanced in Wing Chun than I ever was, but I do know a couple of things. It's still up here a little bit. But yeah, we bonded pretty quick.
Yeah, we did. That was a good time. I was like, oh yeah, cool. I was like, I always tell everybody, if you know, sometimes like your comments, I'm like, I always say Phil is terror. I've been saying that forever.
I appreciate that, but Damien is Terrifier, and I'm glad. Like I said, I think we complement one another. I think we bring out the best in one another. I would like to think that. I hope he feels the same way. I feel that way. I love Damien like a son. He's a good friend. And I can't say enough about him. He's such a dynamite guy. I don't have anything bad to say about him other than when he gets angry, I tell him he's like my 5-year-old grandson. Don't look at that, Damien. Don't look at that part. But listen, I love to have fun. I fuck with everybody. I love to have if I'm not having a good time, I don't want to do it. I have a good time with everybody. I try to be friends with everybody. It doesn't always work. I worked on Wall Street for 30 years. I don't think anybody will have a bad word to say about me. But now that they see this, because I will forward it to the people I worked with, and they'll say, yeah, bullshit. I got a lot of bad stuff to say about you. But,
there's no friends on Wall Street, is there?
Yeah, I have friends from Wall Street. Yeah.
All right. Didn't think that was like a business where anyone could be friends. Like, it's hard enough to have friends in film. I always said, like, there ain't much friends here. Everybody tries to cling to you. Everybody wants something from you, or will claim they did something with it too,
Oh yeah, I know that one very well. I know you want to skirt around that one, but yeah, I know that one very well. But
Yeah.
I have friends on Wall Street. I still have a lot of friends, but once that bell rang, it was ruthless. But there's some good people up there. There's no doubt.
So going forward with part 4, I don't really care to know. I'm not asking like any plot or any of that, but like, do you have a new plan to try to obviously make the set more smoother, or do you have a deadline again and you're being pushed already?
No, we'd like to be out for Halloween 26, but it not we can't. I wouldn't want to do it in that time frame. I know Damien wouldn't want to do it in that time frame. Damien's writing as we speak. I spoke to him a little while ago. He'll be writing today. But I don't ask for anything. I like to read things. I said, when you get enough, I'd like to read it. He said, yeah, I'm going away with him next week. Actually Friday. So I'll be, or Saturday, I'll be speaking with him. I'll go over some stuff with him. I don't like to influence him in any way until it's done. I might say, why don't we try this? Why don't we try that? He's set in his ways, and I'm glad. And if he likes something better than the way he did it, he'll change it. But he's good. I mean, Damien's the real deal. I think it's known now at this point. I tried to be the bartender in Terrifier 3. He says no. He goes, I don't want this to be a Sopranos thing. I said, oh, good, nice. He said, I got something for you. So I'm actually in all 3 movies. So on that one, I actually got to talk. I said, I wanted to do this before I die, so my grandkids could see. Poppy was up on the screen. So I'm happy about that. Another unsung hero for Terrifier 2 was my daughter Lisa Marie and my wife. My wife is a very big unsung hero. Her body parts are in the movie. My daughter's body parts are in the movie. I just posted something where my daughter helped me build, the tank that was built in Terrifier 2. I built that thing. I had a friend of mine, Louis Mandarin. I didn't know how to do metal work, so I called him up. He ended up doing a couple of things. Actually helped us with the metal bars for the cell for Victoria. So I mean, there's so many people. I called on my friend Joey Pagano. We got we ended up using Nellie Bly, which is now Adventureland in Coney Island. I reached out to him. I haven't seen these people in 40 years. And as soon as I call him, hey Phil, how you doing? What can I do for you? Can we get this? So it's cool. It's such a great thing. There's so many people you can reach out to.
I dig it. I dig it. So, are you going to be doing anything else in between Terrifier 4, or are you waiting to get Terrifier 4 done and then maybe?
We have some time while Damien's writing. I'd like to do a movie I wrote a while ago. I was going to try and get Blood Scent done before then, but I'm not going to be able to do that because the effects work in that would take too long because there's a lot of cool stuff in that with transformations and stuff. For the movie I'm trying to do, Paintball, I wrote a while back. I could get that in time. I'm waiting on funding. I'm bringing it out to friends and family to see if I could get the funding for it. I've been promised about 525,000 at this point, and I'm looking to get another 200,000 before I start, and I'd like to get to 1.2 to do it right. If I could get that done before Terrify, I'd love to. If I cannot, I'll Terrify 4 will be the next project.
Wow. All right. All right. And so you're gonna be different. So I take it are you directing this one as well?
Yes, I'll be directing it. Yes.
Sweet, sweet. Well,
Yeah, I want to get back in the director's chair. I want to have some fun.
sweet. I know a few actors would be glad to help. So
I'd love to have you there, man. You know that. I already told you I'd love to have you there. And again, I'll be honest with everybody, and I'll say it right here. I don't just put people in; they have to fit the part. But I wrote this one, so I know where you'd be. So that's all right.
damn right. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Phil, there anything else? This is awesome. We're ready to wrap this up here. Is there anything else you want to throw out there? Any plugs? Anything particular in there?
Well, we got Stream out there. I love the Fuzz Boys. So
Great guy.
if you could check out Stream, give you a point of view on it. Let them know. They're great kids. If I see anybody at any cons, I'd love to say hi. I love talking to the fans. I really do. I enjoy that so much. It's like a new lease on life for me. I get to talk to people. I walk into places and sometimes people recognize me. Like I went to my diner and they said, "Oh my God, you're from Terrifier," and I was like, "Holy shit!" That's insane to me. That's insane to me, and I love it. It's such cool things. I get to talk to people that I probably never would have spoken to just for the fact that you're passing by and nothing comes up, and now there's people just coming up and saying, I know you, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and it's a cool thing, and you get to sit there and talk and you meet new people, and it's awesome.
Yeah, conventions are quite amazing. But Phil, thank you so much for coming on Average Superstar TV and giving me your time.
Thank you, man, and congratulations on Cinema X. Is it
Camera X? Yes.
Camera X. I had it. I watched the trailer, and I plan on watching it. The clip you sent me, I'm excited about it. I didn't get a chance because believe it or not, I almost didn't make this. My sister Marie was rushed to the hospital this morning. She's okay, thank God. So I got to sit here and talk with you. So I didn't get to watch that before this, but I'm sure it's going to be awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I thank this audience for taking the time to check out Average Superstar TV. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. We have a new show every Monday. All comments on YouTube are always answered. Stay tuned for my film directory as the show ends.